Hello. How's everything? How are you guys? All right. Wait. Am I? It looks okay. Nothing wrong with my settings over here. Okay. Looks good. Looks like I'm live. All right, guys. Welcome back to Ask Jason Anything About Meta Ads, Meta Advertising. Okay, so let's do this, right? This is the first time you see me. Welcome to my universe. My name is Jason. I'm from Malaysia. I'm a Meta Ads optimization strategist. So what I do is I help brands navigate success with effective meta advertising. So if you have been running ads on Facebook and you want to take it to the next level, meaning you have been getting good results, you want to really find out what's working and what's not working, and you want to take it to the next level, you want to plan a different strategy for your campaign, you want to optimize the structure, you want to like optimize the campaign results, hopefully you can take it to the next level, scale it and stuff like that. That's really what I do. So all you need to do is please go to my YouTube channel, look for the description, and there should be some link that you can choose to what are the preferred ways you want to work with me. So those are the things that is possible over there. And of course, if you're new to meta advertising, I have various ways to work with you. So yeah, just stick around. So what I do here is basically this is what we call the Ask Jason Anything. This is a live that I do on every Sunday night at 10 p.m. Malaysia time. So what I do here is I answer questions that I receive from my audiences, my community and my members on my YouTube channel. So first thing first, if you need help, if you have any questions regarding Facebook advertising, first thing I would like you to do is please go to my YouTube channel. And I've posted over 1,000 videos on my YouTube channel. Chances are I probably have covered something that is very similar to the problem or the challenges that you are facing right now. So if you can find an answer, great. I want you to move on and do whatever that needs to be done because we have a lot of things to deal with when it comes to meta advertising. But if you cannot find an answer, don't worry. All you need to do is just post your question as a comment on any of my YouTube videos. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go live on the Sunday night or the following Sunday night, hopefully, to answer your questions. I've been doing this for 199. This is episode 199 right now. So been doing this for over 4 or 5 years. So it's really something that I love doing, and I will continue to do this definitely. So yeah. So basically, yeah, let's get into it. So I mean, just in case you are looking for another way to work with me, so basically you can scan this QR code. This will take you to my private gig that you can book a one-on-one gig, because some of you may say that I don't want to go live. Is that possible, Jason? Can I have a one-on-one session with you? Because some of the information or some of the challenges that you are facing is a little bit PNC. You don't want to go live, which is fine. You can scan this QR code. We can have a one-on-one session, basically to go through whatever that is bothering you right now, hopefully to take it to the next level. So you can use this to ask your question. You can use this for me to come in and look at your campaign setup to give you recommendation, or you can use this to get me to analyze your campaign to help you build an optimization plan, anything. So yeah, just scan this QR code and I look forward to work with you. Now, the other one here is just in case you're looking for a, like a different way or structured way to learn meta advertising, because to be very frank, this is what I advocate. Everybody, whether you're hiring an agency or you are having a team, you need to learn meta advertising yourself, because otherwise you won't be able to know whether your agency or your team members are telling you the fact or truth or not. I mean, I'm not saying that the agencies out there are, like trying to cheat you or whatever. No, I don't mean that. But then again, it's definitely beneficial if you know in and out of meta advertising. So that gives you the, the insights or the ability to make your own decision, right? So yeah, but of course, if you want to just learn and do this yourself, definitely Meta Ads Blueprint 2025 is my latest Meta Ads training. Scan this QR code, you can actually sign up and access the 4.5-hour recorded training right away. So we cover a lot of things like, I cover the latest tools and features that you need to know about meta advertising. That's the first thing. And on top of that, we talk about how do I design meta ad strategy. I use case study of e-commerce, whether you're selling on e-commerce website your own, or you're selling on marketplaces like Shopee, Lazada. So I cover that. And on the other side, I also cover lead generation. So basically, if you're running ads for e-commerce or you're running ads for lead gen, we cover both. All right. So I don't just talk about how do I design strategy. I talk about how do I set up the campaign with step-by-step walkthrough. So you go in, I will share with you about, or do sharing, screen sharing. We'll talk about which objective we should be choosing, how should we set the audience targeting, how should we set exclusion, and everything. All right. So after that, I also talk about analytics. What are the metrics that you should look at when you're analyzing a campaign, and the latest method to optimize and scale your campaign in 2025. So those are the things that I covered in Meta Ads Blueprint 2025. Scan this QR code and start learning right away. Now, just in case you say that, Jason, can you just help me set up? Yes. This is a very simple gig. It's a one-off thing where you scan this QR code, you can actually straight away book a session for a 60-minute session. And then after that, beforehand, please send me your creative, your landing page and everything so that I can give you recommendations. So when we meet, what I'll do is I'll just set up the campaign, you and I, over 60-minute Zoom call. Everything will be recorded. You can invite any one of your team members to come, and you can use this as your future training material for your new team members. So if you want somebody to come in and set up the campaign in the most optimized way, leveraging on all the tools and features that is really important to leverage on in 2025, to make sure that you have a strategy set up, optimized campaign set up, ready to go, scan this QR code, and I look forward to work with you. Okay, now I'm going to go through all the questions that I have, but meanwhile, if you guys have any questions, feel free to pop in the chat. Once I go through all that, I'll come back, right? So yeah, I just have to bring this up real quick. Kevin, hi. Yes, new background. So yeah, it looks like this, right? Let's take a look at this. I actually kind of wanted to level up in my YouTube channel content creation. So that's the reason why I spend some time. And I've also want to have a different feel for my workplace, because this is not just my background. I want to, start decorating a little bit of my workplace and stuff like that. So that's what I do, right? So welcome back. And the other one is coming from Edom. So you're asking, how long have I been doing Facebook ads? Well, my first ad was launched in 2009, and I started my digital marketing agency in 2010. So I've been running an agency through 2010 until 2020. So all this while I've been actually doing, running ads for clients and stuff. And started 2016, I started training and coaching. And because of the pandemic in 2020, I decided to go full into coaching and training. Now I work with clients on consultation basis. I usually work with brand owners, agency owners, and all. So what we do is we meet on a weekly basis where I would analyze the campaign with them, and we will make decisions together. So in fact, a lot of clients of mine are spending way bigger than I do. I actually don't, let's put it this way. Let me be very honest. I don't spend on Meta ads a lot, to be frank. In fact, most of the time I don't spend on ads at all because my leads come in organically. But then again, a lot of all these advertisers who are really big in their advertising game, all they need is just a bouncing board. A lot of my clients appreciate my insights coming in from as a third party, as a outsider, and of course my ability to analyze and to be able to spot optimization opportunities. Those are the things that you need. You see, you can completely run your ads, and when I come in, we can possibly just take it to the next level in a different way. So if that's something that you're looking for, you want somebody to work with you in that way, well, you can scan. Yeah, you go to my YouTube channel, look for the link for the one-on-one coaching, and we can start working together on that. Now let's go through the questions that I have. Remember, guys, if you have any questions, just pop in the chat, and once I finish all the questions, I'll come back to the session again. Right, now let's bring this up. So the first question I have is coming from Bolu. So Bolu is asking, under creating custom audience to add in the audience exclusion, what is the advisable number of days for audience retention? Now, here's the thing. I really want to, if you have never heard of this before about audience exclusion, I really want to bring this up to you. If this is the first time you hear this, it's so important for a few reasons. First, audience exclusion must be applied at the top of funnel campaign, because we want to make sure that our top of funnel campaign are always reaching new audiences. You see, the whole point of top of funnel is to constantly reach new audience. And then, it's about the number game, right? We want to reach as many people as possible so that from there, we are able to bring people into our universe, and the retargeting ads will be retargeting them and stuff like that, right? So that's the first thing. Audience exclusion must be applied at the top of funnels, because you want to make sure that you constantly, you are able to reach more new people, especially if you have multiple top of funnel campaign or ad sets. So that's even more important because we want to make sure that we are not repeating too much among our audiences, as in like, when the frequency and when the frequency is really high, it's going to be hurting your budget as well. And it hurts your CPM because overall, when they see your ads too many times, they get bored of it. They would they will affect the CTR and stuff like that, which these are all not good things to your campaign performance, right? So that's the first part. Now, the other part is you want to apply exclusion at your retargeting campaign as well, because those people who have converted should be out, should not be seeing the same ad. So when you're able to, you can actually go to my YouTube channel and search for the two-step funnel, which is my Facebook ads funnel, where I explain in detail about how to build an evergreen campaign where the top of funnel can constantly bring in new people and the retargeting would all constantly push out. So it become a constantly flowing, flow of the audiences where it makes sure that your campaign can continue to run for long run. So when it comes to when it comes to audience exclusion, what is the advisable number of days for retention? We usually go for the optimum duration. So it really depends on the business. Like for example, if you're doing e-commerce, all right, for e-commerce, we usually, you may not have the need right now, but maybe 1 or 2 months down the road, you may have this need. So we want our ads to kind of like able to circle back to our target audience, every 1 or 2 months. So for that, right, we will use a 30 days to 60 days exclusion, as in like we will create, an audience of people who have engaged or clicked on the ad or visited our website in the last 30 days or up to 60 days to be excluded at the top of funnel. That makes sure that we are constantly getting new people. But to a certain extent, we can still go back to the audience after 1 or 2 months, which is important because, like I said, it really depends on what you sell. You may circle back to this audience. I mean, it even comes to lead generation, it makes sense as well, because let's say if you're selling property, for example, I may not have the need to buy property right now, but maybe 2 to 3 months down the road, I may have it. So circling back to me can bring you benefit of maybe touch base back with these audiences when potentially you can convert them. So yeah, so that's the one part. Now, when it comes to exclusion at the retargeting level, it also really depends on your business as well. Like for example, for lead gen, we usually go for the longest duration. Let's say if you're doing lead form, then it's 90 days. Let's say if you're going for website, as in like the website lead generation, usually you can go up to 180 days. The reason why we do that is once we gotten the lead, the phone number and everything, we already have a way of contacting each other. And of course, I always encourage lead gen businesses to build a nurturing sequence or a practice. Because these people come in, you have already generated the email or phone number once, right? I always recommend to have a plan to continuously get in touch with them, and hopefully we're able to convert them whenever they are ready. Now, when it comes to e-commerce, then we probably want to exclude for just at least 30 to 60 days. It really depends on what you sell. Let's say if you're selling something that is fast-moving consumer goods, then you probably want to revisit every 3 to 6 months. 1 or 2 months. So that is beneficial. So it's really depend on your business and the structure or the campaign strategy that you have for your campaign. But those are my takes when it comes to the the exclusion part. That's why it's really important for you to understand how to build an optimized strategy for your campaign, whereby how do we strategize for the top of funnel, how many ads we should go out, and what are the messages or hooks that we're going to use, and what are the exclusion. And when it comes to retargeting, what are the retargeting journey that we are building for them? Like for example, some of my clients has got multiple retargeting ads. Like let's say one of my clients who is in e-commerce, they sell fast moving consumer good. We don't just retarget for the next, let's say if you visit the website, we will retarget you for 7 days. If you buy, good. If you don't, then we will push you out. But we will have a long retargeting, like every month we will revisit those people who have purchased because it's time for them to restock. And then another 2 months, and we will stop for another month. And on the third month, we might come back to them again. So that's the structure that you can even build. It really depends on our business, yes, definitely. So those are the things that we can do. So just in case if you need help, you want me to come in and strategize your campaign and to set it up the structure for you, with you, you can scan this QR code where we can, I would design a strategy over email. We would communicate, and after that, we will have a one-on-one Zoom call, 60 minutes to set up the campaign together. So we can have discussion. Everything is going to be recorded. So it's going to be fun. So yeah, if you want to take away all the guesswork, you just want me to come in and design a strategy and set it up with you for you, Scan this QR code, and I look forward to work with you. Now, the next question is coming from Kamin. So Kamin's question is about what's the best ad structure for bigger budget, especially doing webinars targeting the whole Malaysia. When it comes to the ad structure, very simple, all right? First thing first, let's talk about the budget structure. Okay, we usually spend 80% on the top of funnel because it's really important for us to keep bringing more and more new people into the funnel itself so that our retargeting can work. So we would not spend more than 20% on retargeting. So basically, that's the basic structure at the in the first place. Now, the second thing we need to look into here is how much are you spending? Let's say if you're talking about bigger budget, how big is big? I have a client who is spending about $1,000 to $2,000 per day. So for that kind of campaign, first we will need to find out what is the budget ceiling for the ad set level, because for some reason, okay, there is a budget ceiling in your campaign structure in your ad set level. So let's say, for example, some of my clients, we realize the moment we scale over $300, everything is going to break. For some reason, I'm not saying that the audience is not big. Look, we're targeting the entire United States. We're talking about hundreds of millions of people. So it's really a big market. But yet again, when we scale over $300, we start getting crappy stuff. And the whole thing will go really bad. And you have to remember, when an ad set or a campaign goes into the wrong direction, it's very difficult for us to come back to the right direction. So we need to actually kind of like figure out that thing. So let's say if the $300 is our cap. So if you want to spend $1,000 a day, that means we will spend about $800 at the top of funnel, which means we would need to have at least 3 ad sets. So when we have 3 ad sets, the next question would be, if we want to actually kind of like, let's say each ad set has got multiple ads, for example, I don't care. It really depends, right? So we need to have at least 3 ad sets. But then again, we also need to find out what are the variables that we can control over here. Say, for example, if you want to spend 60% on IG, 40% on Facebook, for example, and we want to break into different ad set or for different gender or different location. So that allows us to even break the ad sets into different segments. As in, like, I would have one ad set targeting Facebook, one ad set targeting IG, and then basically another ad set targeting certain states, and the other one targeting certain specific age group, for example. So that's how we break. And then eventually, when we have a lot of variables to control, then eventually each of the ad sets will become a lot, smaller in budget. But we are still scaling, like having a big one. So it really depends on how you want to scale your campaign in the most effective way. But then again, that's what we usually do, right? We would have to control. We need to find out what are the variables that we want to control. That's how we build the ad set. So that's how we build the top of funnel. And when it comes to retargeting, it really depends on, first thing first, what is your retargeting journey? Do you need a sequential retargeting? Say, for example, you want to send a series of messages once a person land on your website. For the next 7 days, you want to tell them something, right? And then after that, for the next 7 days, means on day 8 to 14, you want to tell them some and another key messages to help you hopefully convert them. Or you have multiple layers. Like one of my clients who is doing a very niche business whereby they don't just want to get people to opt into the ebook, but once they opt into the ebook, they want to get them to complete a so-called survey, which is a very long questionnaire. So after, they will only consider a lead as a lead after they're completing the questionnaire. So we will have another retargeting, targeting those people who have converted into a lead, which is after opting to the ebook, and then we will send different message to convert these people in. So that's really how we will structure according to the business need. So I wouldn't be able to just give you a so-called the best structure for so-called bigger budget. I do not, because first thing first, with all due respect, I do not know how big is your budget overall. But then again, it's really about building the most so-called optimized strategy for your campaign. There's no right or wrong here, but it really depends, because if you have been running ads for a while, then we are able to dive in and look at a lot of information about the campaign, right? Like, for example, we will be able to know which age group works better. And, after matching with the client's information, we know that, we get a lot of better audiences coming from 35 to 54, for example, and we want to zoom in. But when we zoom in, how do we structure the campaign? All these are the questions that we'll be asking when we are trying to build a structure. So yeah, so that's my quick answer to you. But then again, if you want a better way to do this, I would say maybe we can start with an audit first. I assume that you definitely know your stuff, right? So basically, the first thing I would recommend you to do is let's have a quick audit on your campaign. And from there, we are able to kind of like map out a potential optimized structure that may work better for your campaign, because after we analyze the campaign, we'll be able to uncover, like, for example, which platform works better. Is it Facebook or IG? You see, I have a lot of clients who is doing better on IG, but they spend so little money on IG. That's the reason why we break off another ad set on IG, which is totally a common thing. So yeah, I mean, of course, we talk about age group, we talk about gender, we talk about location. All these are the questions that we will ask, and that's how we draw all this information to map our top of funnel. So those are the things that we do. So yeah, if you need help, right, I would say if you want to have a more meaningful discussion, I would definitely need to dive into your campaign, especially with the data and all that. Let's at least have a 7-day data to be able to make it, to make it optimized. Then we are able to draw and build a plan that might take your campaign to the next level. So if that's something that you're looking for, scan this QR code, and I look forward to work with you. Okay, right, now let's come back to this one. Thanks for the question, by the way. Now, this is the last question that I have here. So guys, if you have any questions, I can see quite a few of you are watching here live. If you have any questions, remember to pop in the chat, right? So now I have the last question, which is coming from Sebastian. So you're saying this is, a comment on my video about Meta Ads attribution, because for some reason, a lot of people likes to play with attribution, and that will mess up a lot of things. And you have to always take into another consideration, which is attribution also affect your whole campaign learning and the pixel and everything, right? So yeah, Sebastian is saying this was a huge thing. It was a huge thing because at one point we had this iOS 14.5 issue, which messed up the whole thing. And then after that, they have a lot of different measures and all that. Now things has changed and settled, to be frank. It's no longer that volatile right now. It's a lot more simpler. You no longer need to have the domain verification and all those stuff, which is a good thing. It used to be damn complicated. Even some seasoned advertisers having trouble trying to go through that. Okay, so Sebastian is saying it was a huge thing. It was throwing off all your attributions for all 7 platforms you run. One day click was giving you the results that are really happening on Facebook. You had to change your ad sets only one day to optimize properly. It's a must know for media buyers. Great video, thanks. So I think really when it comes to Meta Ads attribution, okay, now my first rule of thumb for you is if you do not know what you're doing, if you do not understand what it is all about, and you do not know what will be the best conversion window that you want to optimize for your audience. If you want to do that, you must really know how soon your audience convert, right? So if you do not have any information, go for the default will be the best practice. Okay, now then when you go into the attribution settings, you have this 1 day, 7 day. Let's talk about this. The quickest difference here is 1 day, 7 day. So what is the difference between 1 day, 7 day is if you choose 1 day, which means any conversion that happens within 1 day after clicking will be attributed to the campaign. Otherwise, if they buy on the 3rd day, for example, it will not be attributed, which I do not recommend because I don't know what you sell exactly. That's what I say. It really depends on what you sell. So in most cases, I would say 7 days attribution is the best. They used to have ways for us to go for like longer and all that, which is no longer available. So I would say 7 days is common, which is reasonable because people may need to kind of like take that long to convert or to consider to do research and stuff. And remember, we also have the retargeting coming in. So the attribution window is about right when it comes to 7 days. So 7 days means what? If I click on your ad today, and if I convert in the next 7 days, it will be attributed to your campaign. And sometimes we may not want to kind of react too fast. Let's say after you run our ad for a week, okay? And then, the sale seems to be not that good. Then you say that, oh, this is the bad week. But here's the thing. We have this thing called delayed attribution. Like this is quite common. Like exactly last week, we just had a conversation with my client. The week before, when we look at the the lead captured was 10. But after 1 week, we look back at that, the lead captured at that particular week, exactly the same week, it became 15. Why? Because some conversion happened after that exactly 1 week, which can come into the campaign itself maybe a few days later. So that's why it's very important for us to just not just analyze on the last 7 days. We probably want to stretch a bit to the 14-day data to have a better overview about the real attributed conversions when it comes to, like whatever you're running, whether it's e-commerce, website lead gen and all that, which is totally possible. All right. So yeah, I hope that makes sense to you. And to be frank, that's why I say sometimes we do not want to react too fast on the campaign itself, on the results that you're getting, because it may not be real. Give it some time. Because if you're running e-commerce especially, you know exactly, let's say, if you have gotten like 20 sales and Facebook says you only gotten like 10, you know that is not that accurate, right? So just give it some time. Sometimes the campaign just needs some time to learn. So if you have any issues, if you have any confusion about the campaign, your Meta Ads campaign, you want to know what's going on in it, how do we optimize it? I would recommend that you scan this QR code. It will take you to my Fiverr gig where you can actually purchase a one-on-one Meta Ads audit by me. So what we're going to do is we're going to dive into the campaign together. First, I'm going to build you a dashboard, an ad dashboard, totally related to you, just for you, deriving all the key metrics that you need to analyze, arrange up in sequence and save in your ads manager. And then after that, I'll be analyzing the metrics with you. And as I do it, I will kind of share with you how to analyze this so that you will be able to do this on your own in the future. And as we analyze the metrics, we will be able to draw a plan, as in like, how can we take this campaign to the next level? What are the steps that we should take? Step 1, do this. Step 2, do this, and stuff like that. So yeah, it's totally meaningful. Trust me. I've scanned this QR code and go and look at all the reviews that I receive from all my clients from all around the world. I've worked with clients from over 50 countries right now. So these are the people who have benefited from even 30 minutes can draw a lot of information from your existing campaign and help you build a more optimized Meta Ads campaign to be able to hopefully take your campaign to the next level. So if that's something that you're looking for, scan this QR code and I look forward to work with you. All right, so I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, exactly. It's 10:30 right now. I don't see questions coming up, so it's cool. So just in case you guys have anything you need help, just post your question as a comment. What I'm going to do is on the following Sunday, I'm actually going to screenshot and bring it up, and I'm going to answer your questions over here. But if you want to have a one-on-one session, whether you want me to analyze your campaign or you look at your campaign structure to see what's done right or wrong, scan this QR code, and I look forward to work with you. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me, and have an awesome week ahead, and I'll see you next week. Thanks. Good night. Bye.